After the Treaty of Hudaybiyah in 6 AH, the Islamic State of Medina found itself in a precarious position. While peace was secured with Mecca to the south, a new threat emerged from the north. The settlement of Khaybar, a center of Jewish tribes, had become a hub of conspiracy against the Islamic government. Here, exiled Jews from Medina had settled and were actively conspiring with enemies of Islam. First, the Jews of Khaybar maintained hostile ties with the Quraysh of Mecca, continuously encouraging attacks on Medina. They served as intermediaries, uniting various Arabian tribes against the Muslim community. Second, they had orchestrated the Battle of the Parties, the greatest threat Medina had ever faced. Though Allah destroyed their plans, the Jews of Khaybar continued their conspiracies and war preparations. Third, new alliances were formed. The Jewish leader Salam united with Banu Ghatfan, preparing fresh attacks on Medina. When diplomatic solutions were attempted, treachery followed, leading to increased tensions. Fourth, in Muharram 7 AH, Banu Ghatfan raided Medina's pastures at Di-Qard, capturing 20 camels. Though the raiders were repelled, it became clear that Medina would face constant attacks until Khaybar was neutralized. With the southern threat neutralized by the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, Prophet Muhammad decided to address the northern danger. In early 7 AH, the Prophet set out toward Khaybar with 1,600 companions. 107 were mounted cavalry, while the remainder marched on foot through the harsh desert terrain. The Prophet chose a route between Ghatfan and Khaybar settlements, preventing the two enemies from uniting. The Ghatfan tribe armed themselves and advanced to fight, but fearing attacks on their own homes, they retreated. Khaybar consisted of 6 powerful fortresses, housing nearly 1,000 able-bodied defenders. Among these, Qamas was the strongest, capable of withstanding the equivalent of 1,000 horsemen. It housed the Banu Nadir tribe, who had been exiled from Medina and sought revenge. The Prophet initially tried to resolve matters without warfare, but the defenders emerged ready for battle. With diplomacy failed, the companions were encouraged to jihad, and the first attack targeted Naim fortress. Mahmud bin Maslama led the Muslim forces, but as he rested in the shadow of the wall, tragedy struck. The defenders dropped a massive millstone from above, martyring this brave commander. After conquering Naim, the Muslim forces captured fortress after fortress in succession. However, Qamas fortress proved to be the greatest challenge, resisting conquest for several days. One evening, the Prophet made a momentous declaration to his companions.
Tomorrow I will give the banner to one whom Allah will grant victory, who loves Allah and His Messenger, and whom Allah and His Messenger love.
The next morning, eager companions awaited this honor, but the Prophet called for Ali. Ali was suffering from severe conjunctivitis and could barely see, let alone fight. The Prophet applied his blessed saliva to Ali's eyes and prayed for his healing and success. By Allah's grace, Ali's eyes were completely healed, and he was ready to lead the assault. That same day, Marhab, the renowned Jewish warrior, emerged from Qamas to face the Muslim champion. In a brilliant display of individual combat, these two warriors faced each other before their respective armies. With a single, powerful blow, Ali's sword cut through Marhab's helmet and skull, reaching down to his teeth. After Marhab's death, the Jews launched one final assault, but they were defeated, and victory belonged to the Muslims. The defeated Jews requested to remain on their ancestral lands, and the Prophet agreed to generous terms. They were allowed to keep their lands in exchange for paying half their agricultural produce as tribute. However, danger persisted. Zainab, Marhab's sister-in-law, attempted to poison the Prophet with contaminated meat. Though Allah warned the Prophet in time, companion Bashir bin al-Bara consumed the poison and was martyred. The victory at Khaybar secured the Islamic State's northern frontier and established a new model of governance. This campaign demonstrated that through strength and wisdom, lasting peace could be achieved with former enemies.